fun 2 years in the 305. Playing college ball in the city I grew up in, ain't nothing like it. Had some ups and downs along the way, but it's always been love for Panther Nation. There comes a time when you gotta leave the nest and spread your wings. But sometimes the best place to be is right where you are.
Ain't over yet. We still flowing. We spin it back. We gonna rock with Coach Willie Simmons. Panther Nation, let's do it. Paws up.
What's up, man? What's up, where my money at?
Alrighty, episode 79 of the Paws Up podcast. I'm here with my co-host and good friend Jake Gibson. We have a very, very special guest. We have Keyone Jenkins, junior quarterback for FIU Football. Keyone, we're very, very excited to have you on and just talk about what's been going on with you since the last time we had you on.
I'll say the season. We finished off the season since then. We had Christmas break. A lot been going on. A lot went on. But we back. Glad to be back.
So, Keyone, let's talk a little bit about, the last time you were on the show, obviously 2023. Just how would you say you've grown as a person? Obviously, go through your second full season with FIU. You kind of have to take this leadership role with the team, knowing that you're one of the older guys. Just talk to us just this past season, how much you've grown as a person here at FIU.
I've grown, I'll say, expeditiously. It's been a lot of trials, tribulations, you know what I'm saying? And as far as being that guy that the team need, in times of hard times, you know what I'm saying? I've been able to play that role pretty good. Being that it was my second year, a lot of people was looking forward to me, like, stepping up to take that leadership role. I did a great job with that, you know what I'm saying? Being that the season didn't go how we wanted to, but it was times where they could come to me, you know what I'm saying, and tell me what was going on, and I'll handle it, or, like, they'll see me keep my composure, and they'll try to keep their composure as well. Just finish off the season strong and just never give up through everything that happened and went on.
Talk a little bit about, you being a Miami Central alum. Have you been back to the school? Have you gone to any games? Have you had the chance to?
Yes, I actually was there a couple of days ago, if I'm not mistaken. And I went to one game this year, the rival game versus Miami Northwestern. I was on the sideline. We won that game. But the program is doing real good, you know what I'm saying? We ain't been to state since I left, but I feel like they're going to go back this year with the right guys, the right people at the helm, you know what I'm saying?
And they'll play that game at Pitbull Stadium, so that would be pretty cool.
Hopefully, man. Last year was crazy. They ended up getting disqualified.
Wow.
An eligible player. And they couldn't play in the playoffs and compete for the state championship. But we all know who's the best in the city.
Yeah, well, we know firsthand Miami Central produces hella talent, so definitely they're going to be on the right track. Keyone, you're a 305 kid through and through. Talk about being able to play college ball in Miami and, what it's meant to you over the years to play in a city where you've spent, most of your life.
It means a lot. First and foremost, family, nothing greater than family, but the man above God. But it means a lot being able to play in the city I grew up in and played in my whole life. A lot of people who I knew throughout the years and supported me can come watch me play, you know what I'm saying, at the collegiate level. And it's not so often that they able to do that because there's not too many people get the opportunity to do that, you know what I'm saying? So it means a lot. I take it to the heart, and I take pride in what I do for the people that's rooting for me and cheering for me and counting on me.
By the way, to provide a scope here, last time Lights was on the show, episode 44, that was December 18th, 2023. It's been a hot minute, and a lot has happened. Just wanted to point that out there. Now that you have a pair of seasons under your belt, how have your pregame rituals, maybe pregame nerves, and even other traditions you might have, how has that changed between last season and your first start as a Panther against Maine back in 2022?
I'll say the pregame jitters went away this past season. I actually calmed down and took a little more relaxation before every game and just went into the mindset. It's just football, you know what I'm saying? Go out there, do your job, and, you know what I'm saying, play fast, physical, and great pace football, and, you know what I'm saying, lock in and be dominant. That was the word, be dominant. But before the game, nothing changed. I listen to my music. Some games I walk around the field, get a feel for the turf if I have some new cleats or whatever. But other than that, nothing really changed, I say. But I did calm down more. I was way more relaxed and less tense and able to go into the game knowing the game plan and ready to execute and dominate.
All right, so before we actually start talking about the gridiron, there was obviously that big storyline for FIU off the field leading into last season, which was the name change from the home of the Panthers to Pitbull Stadium. I just want to know, Keyone, I'm curious about when you and the rest of the squad knew about it beforehand, if you knew about it maybe a couple of days before or at the actual press conference, and just your initial reaction to the news, getting to meet Pitbull in person, etc.
We found out, if I'm not mistaken, a day or two before, because they had to come change the billboard, and they had it covered up, and they was actually putting something on the field, but they had closed the field off, and we was like, oh, we can't go on the field, asking questions, but it was like a secret, and then they finally put the thing off the billboard. We seen it, was like, oh, okay, that's cool, and then later on that day, it hit the media, and then the day after that, he came and had the press conference, stuff like that.
What was it like meeting him?
It was real cool. We exchanged words. He gave me a lot of words of advice, and he told me if I need him or need anything, I could contact him and we could get in touch. You know what I'm saying? But real cool dude, down to earth, and it's not like having somebody who's high above, and he's from the same place you from, so it hit a little different.
So Keyone, in the hype video for FIU football, there was a scene there that you posed in front of like a small market. I think we're close to where you're from. Just any significance there? I know you put some photos as well on your IG as well.
That was okay. That's actually my neighborhood store, so that's a block away, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, like a block away, down the street from my house. I've been going there since I was a kid. So I'll say since I was like 5 years old. The workers, they still work there. We real cool, and you know what I'm saying. Some days I go in there, they give me something for free or say that like you ain't gotta worry about it. But those my guys, and you know what I'm saying. I told them like I won't ever forget them too. You know what I'm saying. Even though they getting old on me, but like we got a real close relationship. Every time I go in there, we talk about football, and I keep them updated about what's going on. You know what I'm saying. What I'm gonna do, and you know.
That's awesome.
Yeah, definitely. So Keyone, leading up to last season, just what was the message from the coaching staff about maybe what they liked from you, what they didn't like, and kind of just how'd you prepare for the 2023? I know you and Coach Yost were really watching a lot of your former high school tape to kind of adjust the offense towards that a little bit.
Going into the season,
yeah,
I'll say he wanted to attack things I was good at. So the message from him to me was trust him and go out there, execute, and play football. He wanted to take a lot of stress off my plate and make me relax more and just go out there and play football and not have to worry about 1,000 things at once. We also had Coach Calm in the air this year, so that helped out a little bit more. And from time to time, not every time, every play he'll tell me like before pre-snap read what I need to know before the snap or stuff like that. But I'll say the message really was from him was trust him and go out there and execute.
So I guess how different was the preparation for you, Keyone, knowing that you would be the guy going in, week 1 against Indiana?
It was a lot different, I'll say, because last year I took it serious, but everything happened quick. So I knew I could mess up, and they'll like help me throughout the way. But it was like I had to learn on the fly. I'm good with learning on the fly, but this year, with me knowing I'm the man, I had to pick up things more quicker and be able to lead the team and like not messing up or correct the mistakes and being able to understand what's going on before it even happens. So like coming in, watching more film, get on the same page as the coaches and stuff like that.
Now there's no denying that the career-defining stats you put up last season, man. Over 2,500 passing yards, 22 touchdowns to only 8 picks, breaking a lot of FIU records along the way. What would you say is your biggest takeaway from how you performed last season overall?
I got my turnovers down, and that was one of my main goals, and that was something I hit. I wanted to get it lower than that, but it was a game that I performed real bad that messed that up for me, and that was the FAU game. I had 3 interceptions in one, but I increased my passing touchdowns like I said I would and lowered my interceptions and also threw for a couple more hundred passing yards as well. So I feel like I didn't do what I'm capable of, like the best of my ability, but the stats and everything was better this year. I can't agree, but this year going to be even crazier.
I love to hear that. Keyone, talk a little bit about just, that season. You guys had a lot of returning talent. You had, Dean, Eric coming back as the wideouts. You had Flex coming back along with Shamar and KJ, and then you had your offensive line, which allowed the least sacks in Conference USA. Just talk about, the importance of having so many returners on the offense and how that kind of helped you out this past season.
That was great for us because it wasn't like rebuilding or starting from the ground up and trying to play with guys you haven't played with before. So it was kind of cool and easier for us to play with guys who was already in the system and knew what was going on and who was good at what and what we was good at and stuff like that. So it was really just high expectations for everybody. Even though the season didn't go how we planned it to, but the chemistry was there, the bond was there, and everything was just there, like outside of football as well. You know what I'm saying? You could see it translate on the field. It was just certain games we couldn't finish, but as far as everybody being in place and doing what they need to do, it was there. Like it was great to have a lot of guys returning. It took a lot of stress off our shoulders and made it easier for us on the field.
I know throughout the season you mentioned a lot that you really prioritize spreading the ball to your receivers, but talk about Eric Rivers, just the season he had, and you were a big part of that, breaking the FIU record for most receiving yards in a single season and most touchdowns in a single season.
Eric Rivers, he kind of exploded quick. I'm not gonna lie. So we knew going into the season, Eric was gonna be one of our main targets because he's already fast. You know what I'm saying? Like nobody in our conference was running with him. So it was just a matter of getting him the ball and how we gonna give him the ball. So as far as finding out what he's good at and how we can find ways to get him the ball and get him open.
So this team as a whole, right, had a lot of ups and downs this past season, the 4-8 record overall, like you had mentioned. In one word, how would you describe how this season went and why?
Unexpected, I'll say.
Okay.
A lot of players and coaches, we felt great about going into the season. I was actually just talking to one of the players on the team about that earlier this morning on the way to work out. We, going into the season, we knew it was going to be a big year. Like, everybody felt it. Like, it just felt like it was going to be a great year. But after we hit, like, a point in the season and it wasn't going how we wanted it to go, it just took a turn, like a huge turn. And we ended up coming up short and having the same record as the year before.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I'll say unexpected.
I'd say that's a pretty good word.
And especially with the talent we had and how good, like we lost a lot of games we weren't supposed to lose. But yeah, that's the word. Definitely unexpected.
For sure.
I like that. Yeah. Of course, you yourself had to battle through some adversity. There was, of course, the injury in that UTEP game.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about that, your mindset through it all, working with both the coaches and doctors, making sure you're good to go to come back as soon as possible.
I didn't want to rush anything. I say because I'm not injury prone, but if I do get injured, you know what I'm saying, I can push through it. And like, thank God, it's nothing ever crazy happened. You know what I'm saying? Nothing serious. So when I got hurt, I was on the sideline. I was like, I didn't feel nothing until like right before we was about to go onto the field. And then I'm like, okay, it's starting to get to me a little bit. And then I tried to throw a ball, and I'm like, I can't throw a ball. Like, I'm not going in, coach. So I got on the phone. I told him, like, I can't move my shoulder, coach. And we tried to get everything situated there. We ended up going into the training room during halftime, trying to get everything figured out, and it just wasn't working. So we had to kind of like baby it the week of the next game. And it got better, but it wasn't still 100%. But it wasn't a crazy injury. It just was one of those injuries that take time, a little bit more time to rehab. But I'd say my mindset really was helping the next man up so he can help the team do his best job to win the next game. So it's not really about me, you know what I'm saying, me being hurt and about who's starting, whatever. I wanted to help the next guy up, help us win, because I'm all about winning. So whether we could do that with or without me, that's all that really matters.
Looking back, if you had to pinpoint one game this season that best showcased how great you and the rest of the team can be when everything is clicking, which game would it be?
Central Michigan.
Yeah.
Pretty easy answer now that I think about it, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. It was either Central Michigan or second half New Mexico State.
That was a great time too, yeah, without a doubt. By the way, talking a bit about Rivers, I was thinking about this. You threw a lot of touchdowns to that man. What was your favorite touchdown you threw to Eric Rivers?
I'll say the one to break the record. So
Okay.
Yeah.
TSU, double move, easy touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
But the most crazy one though was the wide open one versus New Mexico State.
Yeah.
The way to like extend his hand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that wasn't the first one. It was they left him on the sideline wide open by himself.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that definitely was also an amazing one. All right, Kevin, is it time for a quick break?
Let's do it.
All righty, let's get into Jake's news break, where we look at all things FIU athletics and just FIU in general. Shouldn't be too long here. Let's start with FIU football, as Conference USA placed 20 student athletes on the 2024 College Sports Communicators Academic All-District Football Teams. FIU landed 4 players, tied for the second most in all of CUSA. These Panthers are wide receivers Ross Fournay and Eric Rivers, running back Lexington Joseph, and offensive lineman Jaheim Buchanan. Rivers and Buchanan will both advance to the national ballot to be voted on by CSC members, with the national first, second, and third teams to be announced over on January 28th. Now, let us move on to FIU swimming and diving, as freshman swimmer Tajuana McElmore and diver Brooke Megdal were recognized as the American Athletic Conference Freshman Swimmer and Diver of the Week. They both turned heads at the FIU Sprint Invite this past Saturday, with the Panthers earning a first-place finish overall. McElmore secured 2 first-place finishes in the 100 IM and 50 fly events with a meet record time of 25.05. Meanwhile, Meg Dahl earned her 4th straight Freshman Diver of the Week award, taking 2nd place in the platform event. So congratulations to those Panthers. Finally, let's go back to football, but this time in the NFL, as former FIU Panther and current tight end for the Miami Dolphins, Jonnu Smith, has wrapped up his first season with the Fins. In the season finale against the Jets, Smith caught his 8th touchdown reception, adding to the list of single-season franchise records for a tight end for the Dolphins, which includes receptions and receiving yards, securing this as one of the best single-season performances by a tight end in Dolphins history. So congrats to Jonnu on the achievements. So that was your brief look at Newsbreak. Keyone, I know you mentioned last time don't watch a whole lot of NFL. I'm wondering, now that you have like a guy out with Jonnu on the Dolphins, have you been keeping more of an eye on that team?
If I watch some NFL football now, I'd say it's the Ravens and the Bills. James Cook been going crazy, and Lamar Jackson too.
Yeah.
Who do you have winning the Super Bowl then?
I can't say. Football can go. Hey, it could go either way any day.
That's true.
I feel you. Definitely on where it is too. So, Keyone, let's talk a bit about the transfer portal. You officially entered your name on December 2nd and then withdrew it on the 17th. All things considered, where was your mindset when initially entering the name in the portal, and what was the biggest reason you would say that you took your name out?
The biggest reason I went into the portal?
Yes.
Yeah.
I went into the portal to kind of get a feel of what was what, you know what I'm saying? And I test the waters, really, you know what I'm saying? See who I pick up or who was actually interested, you know what I'm saying? Being that we didn't have a head coach at the time for the first couple of days. But me coming out of the portal was a decision I made with my dad after having a sit-down conversation with Coach Willie Simmons and actually getting to know him, and, you know, where his mind at, where his head at, stuff like that. And he told me a lot of stuff, you know, that actually made sense to me. And who also played a part in me staying was Coach Gator. You know, that's like my best friend on the staff. But a lot went on those 15 days. One day felt like a week. 2 days felt like 2 months, you know. So as far as like what was going on, you just gotta love who love you. And a lot of schools who was reaching out, they wasn't showing that they wanted me as bad as they say they did. So I went with who wanted and needed me, you know what I'm saying? So I understand. It was a great decision. I feel like it's gonna be a great decision. And y'all will see why in a couple of weeks, couple of months.
What was like one thing maybe from what you can tell us that maybe Willie or even Coach Gator told you that kind of sealed the deal for you to come back?
Oh, that last part I just said, Coach Gator stressed to me, love who loves you.
Yeah.
Because the only person who was actually, the only school, I ain't gonna say the only school, it was, I was heavily in communication with 2 schools and 3, including FIU. But when it came down to the decision, I was more in constant communication with FIU. So it made sense. And it was only one, like, about action, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, a lot played a part in that.
Yeah. So take us through that process in a bit of depth. And I ask this because the transfer portal is something that, I mean, if you're not a player, you're probably not super familiar with how it actually works. How did it work for you having to enter your name, getting the offers from those squads and hearing from those other teams? How did it all really work?
Okay, so you have to be into the portal for schools to contact you and actually bring you up on the visit and talk about things that they want to move forward with.
Yeah.
But they can't contact you if you're not in the portal, but it will be illegal, but it's college football. So,
Yeah.
But yeah, so you have to go into the portal, and if a school like you, they'll contact you. You know, they'll get on the phone, talk to you about what they have planned for you, and then from there, they'll talk either NIL with you, or if you have a representative, they'll talk with them and get things like that situated. And from there on, then they'll set up like a visit to come for you to come see the school and meet with the coaches and stuff like that. And from there, you can make your decision or move on to the next school. So it's a process. It's like getting recruited out of high school again, but just in a shorter amount of time, because you only got 30 days before that window closed, and you don't want to be stuck. You know what I'm saying? And missing out that window.
Did you ever get to a visit or no?
Nah, I was supposed to, but I didn't.
Gotcha. So obviously one of the big storylines, Keyone, for FIU this offseason has been the hiring of Willie Simmons, formerly at Duke, was also at A&M. Just, what was your reaction when you found out that Willie was going to be the guy? Obviously you were in the portal at the time. And then when was that first conversation that you had, which I think you kind of alluded to it a little bit ago?
He texted me a couple days prior to him getting the job, actually. He texted me on Twitter and told me that he might be in the mix of getting the job. Excuse me. And when he texted me, I told him to text Coach Gator, because me and Gator got that relationship. So I told, like, anybody who wanted to talk to me would have to talk to Coach Gator first. And from there, like, Coach Gator, we'll talk and, you know what I'm saying, we're options and stuff like that. But after that, me and Coach Willie, we had our first conversation in person. I say a couple of days after he had got the job. Me, him, my daddy Gator, we sat down, went out to eat, and had a long talk about what's what and stuff like that.
So, on top of that, there was a big overhaul at the coaching staff with, I guess, the guy you're going to work with the most as being Nick Coleman, who was at UAB, comes over to be the offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach. Just talk a little bit about, the conversations you've had with him and what's been his message to you so far.
When he first got down here, me and him had a meeting. We was in contact, and he told me when he was going to come down. And I actually told him, okay, when you come down, let me know. I'll come. You know what I'm saying? So when he got down, first thing we did was go to the office. We got on the board and talk football. You know what I'm saying? And I felt like that little 30 minutes or however long we was in there was like, it felt like a month. You know what I'm saying? We already clicked, and he told me his plan and the offensive scheme that he's going to be running. And I was on board from the jump. You know what I'm saying? And I just feel I got a really good feeling about Coach Coleman and what's about to happen this upcoming spring and fall.
Right. I think you mentioned that he mentioned this in an article, I think, recently to the Miami Herald, that his type of offense is a little bit more air raid. Is that kind of what we could expect from you guys in 2025?
It is, yeah. It is.
There you go. All right. So what are some things you want to prioritize this offseason, Keyone? Obviously, you have to learn from a new coaching staff, and you're going to have a lot of new players coming on the offensive side of the ball as well.
I say I want to prioritize, get on the same page with my offensive coordinator and being able to be the change during or before play. Like, if I see something, I can make that change and kind of like understand the offense in and out, knowing the ins and outs and like the little cheat codes I can use, in order to get us to a great play or a good play. You know what I'm saying? It's the difference between having a good play and a great play. Yeah. And I want to take us from having a good play to a great play. So, okay, I see we have a play we could get 5 yards on. Okay, I take a touchdown. You know what I'm saying? But I want to prioritize knowing what's going on before the snap and like limiting my mistakes. Very few mistakes.
Yeah, so we've already had a bunch of transfers at FIU. As a matter of fact, at the time of recording, it's January 8th. A couple more were announced earlier today. A.J. Allen, running back from the University of Miami, and then Jackson Verdugo, a tight end, joining the squad as well. Who are some of the guys that you think you're most excited to see? Like, man, what can these guys bring to the team?
I'll say G7, the DB.
Mhm.
Dante, the defensive end. Who was?
Got that Hawaii receiver too, right?
We got a Hawaiian receiver.
I think so. I mean, I could check.
I know you added it to your very exceptional portal tracker on SI.
Yeah, I think Football reposted that. I'll find it right now, real quick for you.
I ain't know about that, but
6'5" receiver, like 195.
ooh.
Let me see. His name is Alex Perry. There it is.
That name's not familiar. I think he texted or followed me. But the tight end we just got from UAB, I'm excited. Yeah, I'm excited to see him as a big target. And I think that's pretty much it. Everybody else I haven't seen or heard from. I think we got the running back from A.J. Allen, but I never seen him play. But I ain't gonna put no expectations on nobody just yet till I see what they can do when we get out there on the field.
So on the other end, we've seen a lot of returners to the squad. You even have Keyone Owens, who also withdrew his name from the transfer portal. Right, there's a lot of returners to this team overall. Talk about some of the players you're excited to see elevate their game for this upcoming season alongside yourself.
As you just mentioned, Keyone Owens, I got high expectations for him. He also has high expectations for himself. I'm excited for him to come back as well. He stressed about playing with me the whole time during the portal. I think Claude Loggins came back. He
did.
I want to see him healthy and have a full year. He could be real dominant. There was a couple more guys, if I'm not mistaken.
So you can always come back to that if you need some more time to get the names down.
Yeah, I think that's it. I'm not mistaken.
Okay, well, but still, I mean, yeah, very high expectations from Keyone. Excited to see what he can do. You mentioned on the first episode of the Paws Up podcast you were in that talked about Conference USA and how underrated it is with the amount of talent that these teams have. Talk about how it's grown in your eyes, just state of the conference in general. You obviously had Jack State winning it all, the title. A lot of teams got into bowl games. A lot of new head coaches have been hired, and you also have the two new programs in Delaware and Missouri State. Talk about CUSA a bit.
Conference USA, it's not a weak conference. You know what I'm saying? We're a group of 5, but I promise, it's not a weak conference. There's some great talent. You'll find some great talent in this conference. Yeah. A lot of guys come from Power 5s to Conference USA. But like you mentioned, a lot of CUSA teams went bowling. Like last year, Liberty ended up playing Oregon. As rare you see that.
Yeah, that's true.
You know what I'm saying? But we can compete. It's some guys, and it's at the end of the day, it's college football. Well, it's football in general. You know what I'm saying? So
absolutely,
you're good, and it's all about execution. At the end of the day, at any given day, you can win. You seen University of Incarnate Word beat Notre Dame early in the season. So a lot of unexpected things.
Yeah, absolutely. So Keyone, thanks for spending some time with us, man. Let's get into some fun rapid fire questions to start to close up this show here. You said last time JoJo Evans was the funniest player on the team. Has he been overthrown by someone this season?
Nah, that's the funniest dude in the state of Florida.
In the state of Florida.
Yeah,
there you go.
He's a defensive player. If you have to go back to offense, who is it?
If I had to go to offense?
Yeah, the funniest player on the offense.
It's me.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, it's me for sure.
I can see the vision. Yeah, for sure.
So Keyone, how do you say your music taste has grown since last year?
Who I told y'all my favorite artist was.
No specific artist, but you mentioned you had a billion genres you were listening to back then.
Yeah, but I ain't gonna say I slimmer down, but I done hopped on the Rallo wave heavy. That's my favorite artist right now. Rallo and No Cap. So I say my music is more like, I don't know how to explain it, but if you know, you know. You know what I'm saying?
There we go.
Okay. All right. So again, in the last episode, your favorite place to grab a bite to eat on campus was Tropical Smoothie. Has that been dethrowed by another place?
Yes. Panda Express.
There you go. What's the order?
I get the plate, fried rice, double orange, and I get the fountain drink large and get the fruit punch. I might throw some lemonade in there and make it a flop, but yes, definitely Panda. Or if it ain't Panda, I'll hit up Chili's and get the Caesar salad.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think you're the first person that's told us Chili's. So.
I was about to say that. Yeah, I don't recall that. That's awesome.
Football had the guys who've gone from football have been saying Panda Express. So
And the Panda taking over. I actually just ate Panda
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I love that. So Keyone, looking across college football, just who are some of your favorite guys to kind of watch, as an outsider?
Jeremiah Smith.
There you go.
Very exciting player.
Jeremiah Smith is a dog. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, he's tough. Hold on, I can't think of none to my head right now. But I definitely got to go with. Y'all watch out for JoJo, Josiah Trader. He
Yeah.
He gonna be nice.
Mm-hmm. So, my gosh, if there's one thing FIU will always impress with, it's the uniform combos and those special uniforms, man. You've worn a lot of unis. You've worn not one but two Vice uniforms now.
Yeah.
What is the best look FIU has in your opinion?
The best look? Our Vice uniforms this year was the best uniforms FIU ever had. But my favorite color, I like the Biscayne blues.
Classic.
There you go. All right.
And FIU is like undefeated when they wear those things too.
I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so. I'm not mistaken, yeah.
What's
Yeah,
the best field design you've seen?
North Texas, and you guys beat this year La Tech and MTSU in that.
Yeah.
What's been your favorite field design that you've gotten to play on?
It was all right. I think it was a Central Michigan game. It was blue end zone with the white eye dolly.
Oh yeah. That's
Yeah. That was tough.
That's fire.
Hey, well, it was on College Game Day too, which was pretty cool.
Yeah, that's right. It was. So, name a football player all time that you would love to throw a pass to.
NFL too. Like, it could be
All time.
College, NFL, past, present, can be anything.
Jeez. Pass. All right. Sean Taylor. That's my
cool.
favorite player. Yeah, that's my favorite player.
Awesome.
ever.
Rest
That's
in peace.
awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Keyone. We asked this to every guest. Who do you think should be the next FIU football player we get on the podcast?
Let me throw some spotlight on who I want to get to. Bam Lions.
Oh, okay. I like that. Yeah.
I like it. Alrighty, Keyone. Again, man, thanks so much for spending some time with us today. As we always do at the end of these shows, if you have anything you'd like to say to the fans, to FIU, to anybody, the floor is now yours.
What's up, Panther Nation? It's your quarterback, Lights Out, checking in. We back, baby. I'm rocking with Coach Willie Simmons this year. So should y'all. We need y'all to pack the stands this year for sure. And I promise you, 2025 won't disappoint. Like Rod always say, 25, what a time to be alive.
There you go.
That was amazing. Oh, man, that was amazing.
All righty. So we'll wrap it up here. Keyone, we appreciate you a lot for hopping on here for a bit. From Jake, Keyone, and myself, we'll see you guys all next week. Really cool special guest. So peace out. And as always, paws up, guys.
Paws up!